Welcome to Space Vidcast, episode 24 for Friday, September 19th, 08. Wow. It's a lot to say.
5 more months to my birthday.
Wow, I was going to say like one more episode till, magic episode number 25. But, hey, 5 months to your birthday. Whatever.
My birthday.
Or whatever,
I think it's 4. I don't know. Couple of months to my birthday.
We've got an action-packed adventure, so you're going to be hearing a lot about STS-125 in pretty much now until it launches.
The
because,
whole time.
Anytime a shuttle launches is kind of a big deal. Mm-hmm. So that's on the plate for tonight.
And it's an extra special one, too.
STS-125,
mm-hmm.
It is an extra special one. I'm excited for it. It's going to be awesome. So we'll be talking about that later in the show. Actually, we'll be talking about that pretty much throughout the entire show, so just be prepared for that. And we've got some great news, and that is that Space Vidcast, we're going places.
We are.
We are becoming
up and
bigger
away.
And oh, really?
I didn't say to infinity and beyond.
Oh, yeah, but still, it's way cheesy.
Whatever.
Oh,
You're just mad because I stole your line.
Hey, so Carbon is saying that Endeavour, actually, we were talking about STS-125.
Yes.
Carbon just said, breaking news in the middle of our launch show. Carbon said that we've got the Endeavour rollout going on right now. This is a live camera shot. It's updated every 60 seconds of the vehicle assembly building that Endeavour is located in. So there's that. Someone's saying that they're not airing it on NASA TV, otherwise I'd go to that.
Yes.
So this we'll be kind of bouncing back to this shot every once in a while during the show. It's kind of cool, and we're going to talk about that.
Well, it does only go 0.8 miles per hour.
So we've got it takes
lots of time.
7 hours.
Lots of time.
7 hours
to see it crawling.
So we'll get back to that in the later part of the show. But the reason Space Vidcast is growing is we have been accepted as a YouTube partner channel, which is very hard to do for some odd reason. I don't know why, but it's not anyone can just sign up for this.
We had to pull strings.
Yep.
Is essentially what it comes down to. We had to beg and plead for people to give us their vote of confidence in order for YouTube to go, all right, fine.
Yeah, they pretty much did. They're like, fine, just stop bugging us. The reason why partner channel is a big deal is because some of our clips go much longer than 10 minutes.
Some of them. 1 or 2.
Basically every live show. And what we're doing is, and we'll be talking about this a little bit later, but we've been kind of viewing some other websites and kind of seeing how we can improve the content on Space Vidcast. So we've got some longer form content that will be appearing. You may have seen that a little bit earlier this week. We did 2 1-hour daily episodes. One was the STS-125 pre-mission briefing for HST SM4.
Wow. I'm glad he said that, because really,
man,
it's not going to come.
All the acronyms, people. HST SM4, that's Hubble Space Telescope Servicing Mission 4. That's what it's actually called, though,
yes,
the HST
I
SM4.
know. I am very aware.
So that was one of them, and then prior to that, we actually had the NASA administrator, Mike Griffin, Dr. Mike Griffin, excuse me, giving an update. He does kind of a town hall type thing, and we showed you that entire clip.
Fascinating.
Honestly, it's boring and fascinating at the same time.
Yes.
I don't know how they manage. Only NASA can be painfully boring yet incredibly intriguing at the same time.
Did anybody see the woman giving the thing today? I'll have to get back to that. There was a woman giving a thing today.
This one right here?
I know it sounds horrible.
Oh. That's not it.
But for a second, I was like sitting here at my desk, and I looked up because we have NASA TV running, all the time, other than when we're on. And I was like, "What's Sarah Palin doing on NASA TV?" And I was freaking out for a second. This woman looked like Sarah Palin, like it was really bizarre. She had the glasses and the hair and the thing, but it wasn't her. Anyhow. Sorry, it was really random.
Let's get started. I think we have some space news to start with.
No. Oh,
all right. Well, then let's move on. Start us off. Who's this dude?
You don't know who this is? This is Yang Liwi.
Oh, well then who's this dude? Just kidding.
First of all, Yang Liwi, he has been in our one of our dailies before because he is China's first astronaut, and he was one of the torchbearers for Beijing.
That he was?
Beijing Olympics, I should say. Which is the only reason why I know how to say his name. In any case, the whole idea here is that China is getting a second generation of astronauts.
Whoa!
So here's our first generation. You have Yang Liwi. Then the next one is Fi Junlong, I believe.
That one right there?
No, I'm not Chinese, so I'm sorry. Yes.
Yep.
And then the next picture we have is Ni Haishang.
or something.
Yes, and those 3 guys are representatives of the first group of astronauts that China has had. And oddly enough, China has only had 14 astronauts.
Well, that's not that odd, but when you think about it, we've only put about 500 people in space.
Right.
Carbon, is that correct?
Yes.
Did I just make that number up?
No,
Okay.
I did just read that somewhere.
I'm like, I said it out loud, and I'm like, I don't know if that's
We've
actually
only put
true.
4 people in space. Ever.
Okay, about 500,
Okay,
rough numbers.
right.
Yep. Okay, thank you, Carbon.
Yeah, so China only... But I don't know.
Half the stuff I just make up, right? It sounds
Just
good.
for some reason, that sounded odd to me. That sounded like it wasn't enough.
Yeah,
somehow.
but there is a fairly new space program.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
I mean, we've had ours for 50... We're on our 50-year anniversary. So, yeah.
But the average age of their astronauts right now, all 14 of them, is 40. And that's kind of like the golden age of astronauts, really. You kind of want to get them like around 20-ish kind of thing.
That young?
Some of them, yes. Anyhow, but the point is, so they're getting new astronauts.
What about
They're
like
recruiting
30,
and
going
training.
on 31?
You're totally interrupting me. They're recruiting and training new astronauts.
Yep.
But the funny thing is that they're only going to have 14 of them.
Okay.
I think they like 14. It's like a magic number for them.
Maybe it's a special Chinese number.
Well, oddly enough, it's drawing concerns around the country and abroad that they're only doing 14. And why didn't they jump on this bandwagon earlier? If you want to get people into space, you got to train them, and then you got to put them up into space. You can't just yank them off the side of the street.
What's interesting? It's not like they have a shortage of people either.
That's what I'm saying. I guess I think that's why I think it's strange.
They could probably have like 100,000 astronauts, and they would just have pick the best of the best.
Right. That's what we're not talking like Iowa wants to throw people into space. I don't know. I thought it was interesting, and I thought it was a little bit weird that they only want to do 14. The second group will only be 14. So I guess theoretically that means that they'll have 28.
Well, they are an up-and-coming government-based space program, so they'll be interesting to keep an eye on and see what they do. The nice thing about China is they keep NASA on their toes. Oh, they will be keeping NASA on their toes, in my humble opinion.
Yes. And they are supposed to be launching their third manned space vehicle, or I don't know what they call it actually, but their little thingy
Space van?
Sure, their space van. They're supposed to have their third manned space launch. There we go, we'll say it that way. Next week, I believe, actually on the 25th.
Ooh.
So we'll be in touch with that and kind of
if we can stream it live, we will, but China's not very good about giving you that stuff.
No,
so I don't
really
think
not.
we'll have live coverage of that.
But we'll do the best we can.
Yep.
The best we can with that. Oddly enough, you're talking about China keeping the U.S. on its toes.
Are you segueing right now?
I am.
You ready for this?
To Russia keeping America and NASA on its toes.
Oh, yeah.
So, Russia has doubled their funding for space exploration. Doubled.
Wait, who has?
Russia.
Because Russia does not participate in the ESA at all.
Correct.
They have their own program.
Correct.
And they've doubled their thing?
They have doubled their rubles.
Rubles.
That's what they are. What do you want from me?
That's awesome.
So they went from about $2 billion. Or wait. They went from about $1 billion American dollars to $2 billion American dollars.
Yeah, they only have $16 billion to catch up to NASA.
Well, but that's...
Of course, they don't have the $16 billion overhead of NASA
But in
either.
a 3-year period, they doubled their...
Is this their logo right there?
Yes, that is their logo.
Right there?
Yeah, I thought that was really kind of cool. I like how everyone's kind of got that Star Trek-y thing going for them.
Yeah, we should have a logo like that.
Yeah, we should, but we don't.
We don't.
Yeah, ours does. Anyway, so I thought that was fascinating. Meanwhile...
You find a lot of stories fascinating, and you have to let us know that you find them fascinating.
Listen, meanwhile, in Cuba, Russia and Cuba have kind of banded together a little bit. This is a part of keeping NASA on its toes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, no, I think what's keeping NASA on its toes most with Russia is their involvement in Georgia, which we're not going to touch on, but it kind of pissed us off.
Well, Russia is helping Cuba build their own space center.
Center? What do you mean by space center?
That I'm not really sure because the article is very vague.
Okay. I mean, does that mean space station or just kind of like thing on the ground? Anyone in the chat room know? The Space Center in Cuba, is that a space station or is that a thing on the ground? I assume it's a thing on the ground.
It's, well, yeah, because the quote is, with our Cuban colleagues, we discussed the possibilities of joint use of space equipment and the joint use of space communication systems.
Okay.
So they could be putting a launch pad in Cuba.
Okay.
Which gives advantage.
That makes sense from the, location-wise.
Right, because it's a lot closer to the equator. Duh. Yep. So it makes a lot of sense because Russia, not so close to the equator. Let's see, this is Russia. This is equator. It's about this far away.
Are we playing a country equator game again?
Yes, we are. We are.
That's going to be a new segment on Space Vidcast. Country equator.
Sad. So, they're having missiles close to Florida.
Have we not learned from the past? What's the deal here?
That's what I'm saying.
All right.
A little crazy. They just doubled their expenditures, and now they're moving next door to Florida.
Oh, we'll have to watch that. But the reason I think Russia is really going to keep NASA on its toes is because we were going to rely, and we still are planning on relying on Russia for transit to the International Space Station from the year 2010 until approximately 2015. Yep. And the way NASA does things, probably the year 2018, 2020. Because we will have no vehicle for us to launch humans into space. Mm-hmm. So we needed to rely on Russia's vehicles to maintain the International Space Station and its crew. And with their involvement, going on the little things that they're doing right now, we're kind of going, maybe we don't want to do that. Carbon said, unless we don't extend the shuttle to right, so there's talk of extending the shuttle until 2015. This goes back to the NASA Administrator, Dr. Mike Griffin's speech that he gave and his stance on whether we should extend the shuttle mission or not. And actually, we have two videos. We've got a 7-minute video, which is much easier to swallow, where we actually cut it up and just kind of show you the juicy parts. And that is in there. Otherwise, if you want to watch the whole hour-long video, he makes his arguments and his stance on that quite clear. Very clear. I mean, it was... He's not wishy-washy. Carbon says his stance was very... Wow, it was... Right. This would be...
It's funny because I think a lot of people kind of point to NASA and, NASA's doing this wrong and stupid NASA this and blah, 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 blah. But some of these decisions are well above NASA, and all NASA can do is just work within the confines that they are given. Yep. And he is not happy about that. And I
he doesn't mind. No, it's not that he doesn't mind that.
No, but some of the decisions that are being made.
Yeah, he's like, if we are told to do this, I will fight it with every fiber of my being, but... we won't break the law. Obviously, we'll do it if that's what we're ordered to do. Right. But I forgot how he worded it. It was something along the lines of, I'm pulling